Hello guys, welcome to LST. So in this video, we'll be talking about the various career options that you get once you are finished with your law degree. Now, whether you know this or not, but once you are done with your law degree, it gives you more than 20 career options. You have a multitude of career options that you get once you're over with your law degree. You have litigation, you have corporate lawyer, you have in-house counsels, you have LPO, MBAs, then journalism, politics, UPSC, what not. There are multiple options that are there. Now let's go through each one of these options one by one. Let's start with litigation. Now, litigation is considered to be one of the basic practice of law. Like you have these doctors, what do the doctors do? Once they're done with their degree, they open up their own clinics and they start their own practice. We call it practice. Same is the case with lawyers. Once you are done with your law degree, you wear your black gowns and your neck bands and you go to a court and you do the traditional practice of law. You practice in a court, you argue in front of a judge. Now that is basically what is known as litigation. Now in litigation, you get the option to choose among the variety of laws that you learn in your 5 year of law colleges, like criminal law, like corporate law, like civil law, like contracts, like family law. Any of these laws you can practice in any of these areas that you want. And what is the salary? Now, salary is something that in litigation is not something that you're going to get in the first initial couple of years. But once you're done, once you have learned once you have learned the trade, once you have learned the practice, what happens is, I'll just give you a simple task. Just Google out the charges that are levied by one of the top lawyers in the country. Just Google how much does Mr. Harish Salve charge for each case or for each hearing or for each appearance. And you'll know what kind of packages you're looking for. And that's not just true for the top lawyers. Even as a middle level lawyer, you get to earn a lot of money. So in litigation, it's like a business practice where once you learn the trade, once you learn how to actually practice, how actually to go about it, you get a lot of money, a lot of option, and a lot of personal growth as well. Now next is corporate lawyer. Now, when we talk about corporate law, there are basically two types of corporate lawyer. One who basically practice in a law firm. Now, what is a law firm? Law firm is nothing but a collective of lawyers who have come together and basically agreed that we'll, do the practice together. They have basically formed a partnership firm. Now, the benefit of practicing in a law firm is that you get a proper salaried income. And these salaries are not some very meager low salaries that you're looking at. If I look at Amar Chandan Mangal Das, if I look at AZB Partners, if I look at any of these top firms in the country, they pay you a package close to 14 to 16 lakhs per annum. So in this, you get to practice the law as well as choose your own practice area as well as get a salaried income. Something that you don't get when you go for litigation, because like I mentioned, in litigation for the initial few years, you might not get paid much. Why? Because you need to establish your reputation. But in law firm, that won't be the case. Now, second one is your in-house counsel. Now, as in-house counsel, now you know that there are multiple organizations, there are multiple corporations, there are multiple companies that are there. Now, in all of these companies, there's a legal department. Each of these companies have to comply with a lot of laws, there's a lot of compliances, there's a lot of cases as well. Now, those are particularly handled by their own legal departments. And the lawyers who work in such legal departments of the companies, we call them in-house counsels, we call them in-house lawyers. And that is another job opportunity that you get. Now, again, this organization, this corporation that I'm talking about, it includes your banks as well. ICICI Bank is considered to be one of the biggest placement company in the legal sector in India. And they also offer you a package of close to 16 to 18 lakhs per annum. And they hire on a yearly basis. So you have an opportunity of even getting placed in the campus itself if you go for a corporate law. So that is another option that you get. Next option that you have is basically UPSC. Now, I know many of you are UPSC aspirants from the day you are born, I feel. Now, many of you want to go for that. Do you know that cracking UPSC becomes very easy when you pursue law. Why? Because even in law you learn the basic governance, how the government functions, and don't you think it would be much easier if you already know that than to learn it from the scratch when you're preparing for your UPSC examination? Not just that, when you consider public service, how about judiciary? Now, I know many of you go with this concept that to be a judge, you have to be this old person with gray hair and everything, but that's not true. Right after your law college, that is when you're merely 23, 24-year-old, you can actually become a judge. There is an examination known as Judicial Services Examinations, which is similar to your UPSC examination. And you can clear that Judicial Service Examination and become a judge right away. You can start your studies right in your law college and become a judge right after your law college. Now that's another option that you get. So in public service, if I consider public service, it's not just UPSC, it's also judiciary that you get once you do your law degree. Let's consider next few options. Okay, LPOs. Now, I know some of you dream of working in organizations. We dream of working in multinational corporations and everything. Now, like you have these in-house counsels, similarly, there are multiple foreign companies that have established their own subsidiary companies, or they have their own companies here in India. Now, these companies, what they do is, they do the documentation work of these foreign national companies. Those companies, we call them as LPO. In an LPO also, you get a decent package, you get campus placements, and you can work in a very comfortable environment with a comfortable timing, the kind of lifestyle that you choose, that the kind of lifestyle you might want. So LPOs is another option that you get, that is basically working for a foreign multinational company, and you can get to do a lot of documentation work for them. Now, for all the academicians out there, the ones who like studying, the ones who want to pursue higher education, who have higher goals, now that is another thing that you get. You have your LLM degree, that is the master's degree, and master's degree is something that you can pursue abroad. You can go to a foreign country and you can study there, and that again opens not just one door, that is becoming a teaching professional. That opens another door for you, that is becoming an international lawyer. So you can even practice as an international lawyer once you pursue a career abroad, once you pursue LLM abroad. So academics and research is another option that you get. Let's consider journalism. Now, I know journalism is also something that you might think, how is it associated to law? But it is. The number of judgments that you read in the newspapers, the number of times your news agencies reports on these cases, who do you think does that? Who does that basic work? Because those journalists, they don't have the knowledge base to understand the judgments, to understand what the judge is saying, to interpret the laws that are being discussed in a particular judgment. For that, what do you need? You need court reporters. And again, that means that journalism is another career option that you get after law. Let's consider social advocacy now. Now, I know many of you think that you want to do something good for the world. Now, how do you do that? See, we know the population that is there. We know the number of issues that are existing in this country. So someone has to be there who would fight these cases in the court. So that is another option that you get. Now, question is, how do you earn if you're fighting all the cases in a pro bono manner? You earn because there are specific NGOs that are basically working towards these cases. And working with such NGOs, you might even get a salaried income. So you're doing something good for the world without even sacrificing your bread and butter. So that is again something that you get as an option. If you want examples of it, look at what Mr. MC Mehta is doing. We cannot study environmental law without mentioning his name. So that is the power of social advocacy that is there in the country. Let's look at few other options that you get. MBA. Do you know you can even do MBA after law? And MBA and law, that forms a very good combination. Why? Because now after doing MBA, you know how the management of the company works and you know how the legal department of the company works. So you can obviously go ahead and do that. There are multiple startups out there in India who are extensively looking for people with such profiles. So if I consider job opportunities, if I consider any of these things, I would say just think of any job in this entire world and you'll find that a lawyer might be needed there. Consider politics, one of the very basic things. And I don't even need to explain it to you. Why? Because all you need to do is Google the number of politicians who are actually lawyers. You already know those names, you already know that. So politics is also another career. So public service, politics, journalism, litigation practice, company job, whatever you want, that is the kind of bandwidth that you're looking at once you finish your law degree. So law is basically an option with which you get a multitude of career option. So this is the kind of thing, this is the kind of degree that you should be looking at, because when you're doing a SWOT analysis of yourself, you need to know what you want. And if you don't know, you can just easily go for law. Why? Because you get a lot of options that is out there. So that's all for today. If you like these videos, please click subscribe, click like, and you can drop your questions on the comments and we will get back to you. Thank you.